Is Exodus 13, 1 through 10. The Lord spake to Moses and said, Every firstborn, the firstborn of every womb among the Israelites, must dedicate to me, both man and beast. It is mine. Now, we see in Luke, around the Christmas story, that Mary and Joseph go to the temple. This is what they're doing at the temple. They're dedicating Jesus because he's firstborn. Now, there's certain sacrifices that they were required to do with that, but that's what they were doing. So we see this isn't something that stops after Moses. It's one of the few things they continue to do. They probably still do something like this today, even though they don't got a temple. Then Moses said to the people, Remember this day, the day of which you have come out of Egypt, the land of slavery, because the Lord by the strength of his hand has brought you out. No leaven may be eaten this day, for today is the month of Abib, and the day of your exodus. And when the Lord has brought you into the country, the Canaanites, Hittites, Amorites, Hivites, and Jebusites, the land which he swore to your forefathers to give you, a land flowing with milk and honey. Then you must observe this rite in this same month. Now, the promise was first given to Abraham that his descendants were going to inherit this land. God told Abraham when he told him the promise, their time ain't yet. He was kind of showing that I'm going to give them a little more time, show them a little mercy. You're going to go into captivity for, I think he told them 400 years, your people, and then they'll come back and take it. But we see that they sinned and went into wandering, and then they conquered something like, they didn't conquer, because of their sins, because of their distrust of God, they did not end up conquering this land until the reign of David. David ended up conquering all that they were supposed to. That's one reason why Solomon didn't have to go to war, because he was conquered. For 7 days you shall eat unleavened cakes, and on the seventh day there shall be a pilgrim feast of the Lord. Only unleavened cakes shall be eaten during the 7 days. Nothing fermented, no leaven shall be seen throughout your territory. On that day you shall tell your son, This commemorates what the Lord did for me when I came out of Egypt. Now, leaven, for those that don't know, it's yeast. It makes bread rise, so they're eating flat bread during this whole time. We see things that got yeast in it, sugar. Most things with sugar has yeast in it, so they wouldn't have had any of these things during this time either. They actually removed all the things with the yeast in it. They either ate it beforehand or they just threw it out. They removed it all from the areas they were living. So they wouldn't even have it to get it. This is the way the Bible compares yeast here, referring back to this, compares it to sin. When we come to Christ, He's going to get all our sin out. He wants to remove it all. Now we're imperfect, so sin will come back in. But we need to put a little sin in the corner, because then we'll just keep committing that and staying in the same place. You shall have record of it as a sign upon your hand and upon your forehead, as a reminder to make sure that the law of the Lord is always on your lips, because the Lord with a strong hand brought you out of Egypt. Now, when I read this, sign on the forehead and sign on the hand, it's it mentions it in Revelations. But the idea behind this, if they own somebody, they put their name on their hand or their forehead. It's kind of like how they brand cattle. You kind of showing who they belong to, because it wasn't a temporary belonging. When you're sold to someone, you're bought, you're theirs. Now, Israel ended up having a thing after owning them for so many years. There's a year of Jubilee where they'd set them free, or supposed to. But that's what it's called. You're owned by God. You're God's. Now, I don't think they actually put, based on other scriptures, I don't think they actually put God's name on their hand or forehead, but they got the symbolism behind that you're God's. You serve God. You need to live like it. You need to be like it. This is a rule you shall keep it at the appointed time from year to year. Okay. 1 Samuel 2:5. They that were full have hired out themselves for bread, and they that were hungry ceased. So the barren hath borne 7, and she hath many children, waxed and feeble. Bread is a necessity of life. In Jewish times, and in times even today, it's a normal part of the meal. The Bible compares bread to the Word of God. We ain't meant to just pick up the Bible and read it every now and then. It's supposed to be something daily, something actively, something because it's spiritual food for us. It's necessity.